This is the updated Lexus RX, and I know it looks the same as the previous version, but there have been a number of changes to this car. Under all that sharp-edged sheet metal, there have been a number of modifications made to this 2020 version of the Lexus RX, and the most important of which is actually inside the cabin. I'll get to that in a sec, but first, if you want all the detail, head to the CarsGuide site to read my full detailed written review. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and share this with your friends. And also hit that bell notification icon so you can stay up to date with all our latest videos. But now, I might show you the exterior design and what's changed with it, because there are some changes. Let's talk through some of the design changes that have been made. Although it doesn't look hugely different, there are new headlights on the top two grades, and they use active blade scan technology. Whatever that is, you can read my review to find out more, but every model gets LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. It's just the top two that get the better headlight technology. There's also been a redesign of the grille depending on the model you get, and the front bumper has seen some changes too. You won't tell much in the way of changes from the profile of the car, although there are new alloy wheel designs, and this is a new color as well. But at the rear, there's a new back bumper, and the tail lights are a new design too. The boot now has an electric kick to open tailgate, which does take a little bit of time to master. But behind the boot is 453 litres of cargo capacity. Now that's for the 5-seat model, and it isn't a huge amount of storage for an SUV of this size, but it does have a sliding second row. There's a 7-seater version called the RXL, which has 3 rows of seats. With the back row up, there's 211 litres of cargo space, while the 5-seat configuration is a bit more roomy than the regular RX because, well, essentially the L stands for longer. Space in the second row of the 5-seat version of the RX is pretty good. There's easily enough knee room for me. I'm 6 foot tall, and this seat is set for my position, although I am struggling a little bit for toe room, and headroom is a little bit invaded by this large sunroof that sits in this particular model. The seat comfort is okay. The seat recline is maybe a little bit too steep for me to be comfortable, but other people might find it fine. Storage is good. There's a pair of cup holders down here in this armrest, plus there's a bit of storage in the middle as well, and you've got mat pockets on the backs of the seats. There's bottle holders in the doors. There's also rear seat air vents, and in this top spec sport luxury variant, you get rear seat heating. But every model now gets USB points in the back as well, which is great for kids. Speaking of kids, there are ISOFIX child seat anchor points and top tether points across the back row as well. Now, let's check out the front. The big news up front is that now there's finally a touchscreen media system in a Lexus, which is a big change for the brand. It means you don't need to use the haptic feedback trackpad thing down here if you don't want to. Instead, you can just touch the screen up here. They've moved it closer so it's easier for you to reach as well. Now, can we get some celebration graphics for that? The screen itself is a 12.3-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that's standard on every grade of the RX, which is a nice thing for Lexus. And the screen itself is actually pretty easy to use now that you don't have to go through the trackpad system. And so that makes the big improvement in here that screen. The rest of the interior hasn't changed that much. There are still lots of buttons down low here. There's cup holders, there's decent storage, including a covered center console. There's 2 USBs in there and 2 USBs there. So that makes a total of 6 USB points in the Lexus RX. That's more than one for every person. I don't know why you need that many. But there's also wireless phone charging depending on the grade, and you also get bottle holders in the doors. The seat comfort is really good in the sports luxury and luxury models. In the F Sport, they seem a little bit firmer, but generally inside the RX has been a bit of an improvement, but doesn't push it towards class leadership. Now, let's take it for a drive. When it comes to the drive experience, the Lexus RX definitely feels improved compared to the previous version. I haven't driven one for a couple of years, to be honest, but this version does feel a little bit more mature, composed, grown up than the previous one, and that's got a lot to do with what's changed to the chassis. So there's retuned electric power steering, there's also retuned suspension, there's differences to the stiffness of the body of the car. So they've actually done quite a bit of work to make it feel more settled on the road. As well as that, they've softened the suspension so that you've got a bit more comfort, but also improved the stability of it by adding different stabilizer bars. So it does hold its line pretty well through corners, and there's enough grip for most people's needs. I mean, it's a Lexus RX. They're not really built for enthusiasts. But that said, I've driven a couple of different variants of the Lexus RX today. This one I'm in right now is the RX 300, which has a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine. It's got decent power and torque outputs. It's actually pretty quick when you put your foot down, although that engine does make quite a bit of noise under hard acceleration. I've also driven the RX 450H, which is a petrol electric model. It's got H for hybrid, and that uses a petrol V6 engine teamed to an electric motor and a battery pack that helps you save fuel. Now, the claimed fuel consumption is pretty impressive for the 450H variant, and the performance, well, it's pretty aggressive as well. If you put your foot down, sure, it's not the most enlightening experience for the driver, but it does get up and move, and that's an important thing for a luxury SUV. And I guess the biggest thing with the RX is that maybe it isn't as plush or lovely as some of the other cars out there in this segment, but it does have a price advantage. Now, you might be wondering what that advantage is. Let me tell you. Now, let's talk about the RX range. At the entry point, there's the RX 300, which has a 2-litre turbo petrol engine. You can get it in a few different variants, with pricing starting from $71,920. The RX 300 is only available as a 5-seater. The RX 350 has a petrol V6 engine, and you can get it with 5 seats priced from $81,890, or with 7 seats from $85,000. The RX 450H has a hybrid engine with a V6 petrol engine backed by a battery pack. It starts from $91,090 for the 5-seater, while the 7-seat version is priced from $94,470. Head to the CarsGuide site for all the pricing, spec and safety details. So overall, the 2020 Lexus RX is an improvement over its predecessor, although it doesn't quite push to the top of the segment when it comes to overall engagement and enjoyment for driving. That said, it is comfortable, it is plush, it is luxurious, and it offers pretty impressive value for money. Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Is value more important in the luxury segment than anywhere else? Let us know what you think. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit like, and hit share so you can show your friends this video.